A very warm good evening to all of you. Welcome to the 124th session of Centa's webinar series for teachers. I hope all of you are staying safe and staying healthy. In this session, we will be hearing from the team at Lighthouse Learning as to what it takes to be an edupreneur in the early childhood space. How can teachers embark on this path and become successful at it? Today, we have with us Mr. Seshasai KVS. He is the Chief Executive Officer for EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids preschool brands with a demonstrated history of working in the education management and retail industries. Sai sir is a management postgraduate from IIM Bangalore and also a Chevening Fellow from the London School of Economics. He has done extensive work in retail and education sector with an overall experience of 25 plus years. We also have with us Dr. Anita Madan. She is the head for curriculum development for EuroKids brand and is responsible for the content designing and training for EuroKids international preschools. She is an educationist and holds a doctorate in education with a specialization in curriculum, along with three other master degrees, including sociology, education, and an MBA in human resource, with an overall experience of above 25 years. We also have with us today Mr. Sandeep Heti. He is the head of the pre-sales business for EuroKids, Kangaroo Kids preschool brands at Lightning House Learning Private Limited, with a strong acumen and expertise in franchise management, business planning, business development, and marketing strategy, with an overall experience of more than 20 years. We welcome all of our esteemed panelists. Before we begin the session and I hand it over to Sir, I would like to inform all participants that they will receive a certificate for this webinar. And if you are interested in what we are going to discuss in this webinar, please do fill in the feedback form that will be shared with you at 5:45 p.m. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Simran. It's indeed a pleasure uh, to be on this platform and to interact with all the teachers and all the educators who are on the Center platform. We've been looking forward to this collaboration with Center for a very, very long time. It's been almost 6 months in the making, and we are extremely happy that we finally managed to put this collaboration together. And we are here today to talk about the early childhood education space, the preschool space, and talk about why we think it's a great entrepreneurship opportunity for teachers across the country. So, just to give a little bit of a preamble before I get into my presentation, in the last 3 or more years, every year we sign up hundreds of new partners for our EuroKids and our Kangaroo Kids franchisees. And more than 30 to 40% of our new partners are teachers. They could be pre-primary teachers who are possibly teaching in some other preschool, or they could be primary teachers, they could be middle school teachers, they could be high school teachers, they could be teachers who are teaching in colleges. They could even be teachers who are running their own coaching institute, right? And we've seen many of these teachers come and you know tie up with EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids and start their own preschools. And one of the things we've noticed is that these teachers have been some of our most successful franchise partners, right? Because years and years of teaching in the classroom has taught them how to interact with children, how to interact with students, and how to manage parent expectations. So that is something that they have already learned through years and years of experience. And combined with the knowledge that we impart our edupreneur partners, they're able to really take off with their franchise businesses and make a big success of it, both from a consumer perspective as well as from a financial perspective. That's why we thought it would be a great idea to tie up with Center and bring our entire proposition to all the partners, all the teachers and educators on the Center platform. So without further ado, I'll go straight into a presentation. And at the end of the presentation, we will be taking any question and answers that you might have about what we are presenting today. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, thank you. So, like I said earlier, Lighthouse Learning Private Limited is the company which has brands like EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids under it, and we've tied up with Center to bring this special joint initiative for our nation builders, and that's what we think our teachers and educators are, that they are nation builders. We are India's leading early childhood and K-12 education company. These are our brands: EuroKids, Kangaroo Kids, Euroschool, and Billabong High International School. We recently acquired Centerpoint School and Mother's Pet Kindergarten in Nagpur as well. We have more than 20 years of expertise across the pre-K and the K-12 space. We are present in 3 countries, 360 plus cities across India. We have a 1200 plus preschool network. We have 42 K-12 schools, and we have nurtured more than 4 lakh children over the last so many years. What I also would like to mention is that across our two brands, EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids, more than 80%, more than 80% of our franchise partners are women entrepreneurs. Right? And currently, we empower 1,000 plus women entrepreneurs who are touching the lives of 1,50,000 children on a daily basis. And our franchise partners, in turn, will hire teachers, staff, DDs, security guards, and collectively, we are giving employment opportunities to more than 10,000 plus people across the country. So, one of the questions we get asked as part of Lighthouse Learning, as part of EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids, is, if you're looking at education, if you're looking at becoming an entrepreneur, why early childhood education, right? And at EuroKids and at Kangaroo Kids, at Lighthouse, we've always believed very deeply in the power of early childhood education. Yeah, it's only in 2020 that the government has taken cognizance of the importance of early childhood education. And if you read the new education policy 2020, it says, for the first time, it says that 85% of a child's cumulative brain development occurs prior to the age of 6. And hence, the government has made universal provisioning of quality early childhood development and education a national imperative, which means that the government is going to invest a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money to encourage early childhood education. So that's one key reason why early childhood education is going to be a very important initiative and a very important growth area for people to invest in. We also have access to many scientific studies. Yeah, there's a project called the Abecedarian project. There is a project called the High Scope study, and all of these show through data, through longitudinal studies over years and years of time, that children who go through a structured and scientific early childhood education benefit through life. They benefit through improved social skills. They get better marks. They have better enhanced attention spans. They have fewer behavioral problems. They go to college a lot more than children who've not been through early childhood education. They get better paid. They get better jobs. And a plethora of benefits are available to children who've been through a high quality early childhood education. And that's the reason why increasingly in India, parents who are, uh, globally aware, globally traveled, IT sector parents are very, very keen that their children also go through a very high quality preschool education. So that's why early childhood education becomes supremely important. Yeah. Now, for the last 2 years, because of the pandemic, all preschools have been shut. Um, they had started opening up sometime in August last year, but because of the Omicron wave, all the preschools got shut again. But with the Omicron wave tapering away, we are seeing that states like Maharashtra have already taken a decision to open up preschools. In fact, in Maharashtra from today, all schools and preschools have been allowed to open up. Yeah, and when we as we see the Omicron wave abate in other parts of the country, we will see more and more preschools and schools opening up and children coming back to school. And when that happens, the demand for structured early childhood education is going to hit an all-time high. Yeah. But let's talk a little bit about the business perspective, right? India has 165 million children in the 0 to 6 year age group, right? And all the branded preschools put together, all the branded preschools put together will probably be catering to maybe 5 lakh children or maybe even a million children, yeah, at the most, if you put together the unorganized sector and the organized sector. So 1 million out of 165 million children are going to preschool, right? So just imagine how much growth or how much scope there is for growth with all preschools across the country. Right? Some of the things as teachers you must have already have seen that you know every year a lot of people shift from smaller towns to bigger towns, and when they shift from smaller towns to bigger towns, their family doesn't necessarily come with them. Their parents, their in-laws don't necessarily come with them. So when they shift to a big city and when they go to work, they need a place where a safe, hygienic, high quality preschool where they can keep their child while they are at work. And we are also seeing the percentage of women in the working population increasing rapidly, which is such a great sign for a country like India. And that's also fueling the demand for preschools. India, as you know, is a country obsessed with education. Yeah. After food, India spends the second biggest amount of its income on education. Yeah. And as Indians, we're obsessed with education. We want our children to do extremely well. We want to give the best to our children, right? And that's the reason why preschooling as a business, as an industry, will continue to go by leaps and bounds over the next few years. Finally, market penetration of preschools in India is still very, very low compared to developed countries like USA, UK, even China, right? India, for instance, has 1.5 million K-12 schools. Do you know how many preschools are there in India? Maybe only 50 to 75,000 preschools, right? So again, the market is very, very big, right? And the penetration of preschools is very low. Hence, there is tremendous scope for someone who's passionate about education to come in, build a great franchise in the preschool sector. Again, we get asked this question a lot, saying, "Why is now the best time to start your own preschool?" People might say, "Arey, in my state, government has shut down preschools. When will government give permission to preschools? Why should I go and invest money in starting my own preschool?" Right? So, but the difference is that, like I said, preschool operations have started to resume. Maharashtra is first. We are expecting other states to follow suit very quickly. This time around, you would have seen that with the third wave, no government has gone into lockdown. You know, at the most, they might have imposed night curfews, they might have imposed weekend curfews, they might have reduced offices to 50% capacity, but there is no knee jerk reaction saying shut everything down, right? And in Maharashtra, which was the most conservative state when it came to resumption of schools and preschools, all that has happened in Mumbai and in Maharashtra is that schools and preschools were shut down for approximately only 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and all schools, preschools have opened up, right? So, and we've been tracking a lot of data on the Omicron wave, and we feel after a long time, after 2 years of being under a lot of difficult situation, we finally feel that there is light at the end of the tunnel. We think that in the next couple of months, the pandemic will go into the endemic phase. Preschools and schools across the country will open up, and that will create a huge opportunity for people who want to consider the preschooling for their starting their entrepreneurship journey. Offices will open up in the next 2 3 months. Parents will go back to work, and when parents go back to work, the demand for preschools will come back. Yeah, and when the demand comes back, please do remember that in the last 2 years, a lot of marginal and small preschools have all shut down, right? That is why in many cities, supply has become half of what it used to be pre-pandemic. So let's say Pre-pandemic, there were 100 preschools. Now there are only 50 preschools. Demand is going to come back to 100, but supply is still at 50. So these 50 will gain immensely because parents will have fewer choices. They will go to the preschools which are left standing, right? The other thing is, we are seeing during the pandemic a big shift from unbranded to branded, not just in preschools, but across many, many categories. Especially so in preschools, parents are coming and asking us, will your preschool be safe? Will it be hygienic? Because they're very concerned about sending their children to a preschool. Will they follow protocols? Will they be clean and hygienic? And automatically having a brand like EuroKids or Kangaroo Kids gives the parent an assurance that our preschools will be safe and hygienic. I'll talk about it a little more in the presentation. And also one of the big things that you must remember is that when it comes to preschool education delivery, you need to have multiple capabilities. You cannot just say, I have my own bungalow, I'll open up a preschool, I'll run it on my own, right? No one knows whether there could be a fourth wave, there could be a fifth wave. And we have seen that you may need to keep switching between online, offline, online, offline. Do you have the online capabilities? We have the online capabilities. We give you a great online education platform which makes your ability to continue your students' education seamlessly very, very easy, right? So that's the reason why we think that now is the great time to start your own preschool. Yeah. Let's talk about the Omicron perspective, right? In the second wave last year, we all knew that people were falling ill, they were going to hospital, they had to wait in queue for oxygen, people were getting into ICU, and we even had, even within our own organization, we had 2 or 3 people who passed away in very tragic circumstances. This time around, the number of people who got infected is very large. Not a single person has been to hospital. They've all recovered very rapidly and only through home isolation. And that's what is probably what you're seeing all around you, right? Government has reduced the quarantine period from 14 to 7 days. And recently, the government has actually come out and said that the cost of leaving children at home is far higher than the cost of sending them to school. Because even if children get infected, they have very mild levels of infection, they recover very rapidly, and they're always at the least amount of risk. Yeah. What is the other perspective? When you work with Lighthouse, we are well prepared for both online and offline modes of generation, right? And one of the big things that we've learned and implemented and imbibed during the pandemic period is that we have mastered the art of generating and creating admissions for our franchise partners. In the last year, between April to July, we spent a significant amount of money in our digital marketing investments, and we have generated more than 1.5 lakh leads to drive our partner admissions. Right. So, irrespective of third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave, whatever happens, Lighthouse Learning with its brands EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids is fully prepared to cover any eventuality in the market. Let's look at South Africa. South Africa had a massive peak, the highest peak during mid-December. The wave is over in South Africa. In UK, where they still have very high level of cases, but they are already on the down curve, the British Prime Minister has announced that they are moving towards the endemic situation. He has relaxed all COVID restrictions, and he's also asked people that they are not required to wear masks in public or indoors. Right? That's the level of confidence that is coming into people with the Omicron wave coming down. Yeah. Hospital admissions, ICU admissions, and daily deaths are extremely, extremely low in the case of Omicron. What this means is that we may be in a great situation that we will soon be moving towards an endemic situation, and we may soon be, by end of February, we may be in a situation where things could be pretty much back to normal, and we may have a normal start to the academic year in April. I'll talk a little bit about our preschool brands. Yeah. Let's talk about EuroKids. EuroKids is one of India's largest chains of preschools. We have close to 1,100 preschools across the country. Um, 20,000 hours of curriculum research has created our UNOYA curriculum, which is a cutting edge and award winning curriculum. We have age specific programs starting from playgroup, nursery, junior KG, and senior KG. We have more than 20 years of experience. We have won more than 40 awards, and we spend an immense amount of time, more than 6 lakh plus hours spent in training our partners and our teachers. I talked a little bit about the curriculum. It's a very holistic curriculum, and Dr. Anita Madan is here. You can ask her questions later in the Q&A portion of this webinar. But our curriculum covers mind, body, and soul. Yeah. So when we talk about the curriculum, when we talk about the mind, we have euphonics, we have math lab, and we have the scientific spark. When it comes to the body, we have Eurofit and Yoga Kids. And when it comes to the mind, we have Euromusic and Mindful Plus. All of these programs, especially the mind and the body and the soul, have been created in conjunction with well-known Indian and international experts to bring the best of content and the best of pedagogy to our preschool. I spoke about our online learning platform. So we have HomeBuddy. HomeBuddy is a very comprehensive learning platform which allows you to learn to do live sessions. We give the parents weekly learning plans. If someone misses a class, we give them recorded lessons. We have interactive games. We have more than 400 audio visuals on HomeBuddy across grades. We have read along stories, we have worksheets, DIY activities, fun zone. It's a plethora of content which the parent can use to keep the child engaged in a very scientific and structured manner, attend classes, and also cement their learning through the day. So this comes to you as part of the tie-up that you do with EuroKids. We are one of India's most awarded preschools. Now, when it comes to the preschool tie-up that you do with EuroKids, for instance, we give you all of this. We'll give you infrastructure and ambience design. We give you equipment and teaching aids. We give you a well-researched curriculum. We help you hire and train your teachers. We give you marketing and operations support. We supply you with leads, and we also help you with your rewards and recognition. So, what do you need to do to become a EuroKids partner? On the infrastructure side, you need about 1,500 square feet of space, typically on the ground floor with an outdoor area, so that children can play. And you need to create the ambience as per the manual provided by us. There is a franchise fees that you need to pay to EuroKids. There is a setup cost which involves buying equipment and doing up the interiors of the preschool, and we will guide you on how to do that. And there'll be some monthly rent, teachers' salaries, etc., that you will have to pay, which is part of your monthly OPEX. Let's talk about Kangaroo Kids. So EuroKids is our Mastige or mid-market brand, and Kangaroo Kids is our premium brand. Kangaroo Kids, as you know, has been around since 1993, and it has always been a premium preschool with a premium positioning in the market. And we recently launched our ICANN learning system, which is based on the 15 habits of the mind and the 9 future skills. So this is a very cutting edge curriculum and a very cutting edge learning system, which makes Kangaroo Kids even more premium. So Kangaroo Kids is very different from the other preschools because it has a curriculum which is extremely well researched. It has an infrastructure which is very, very stimulating, aesthetically appealing, and it is a premium service offered at a higher fee point, which means that as a partner, your profitability will be higher because of the higher fee point, right? And we invest a lot of effort in training to make sure that you fully understand the curriculum and can bring the learning outcomes to life as far as the children are concerned. What is needed to become a EuroKids, a Kangaroo Kids partner? The infrastructure requirements are minimum 3,500 square feet. EuroKids was 1,500 square feet. in Kangaroo Kids, you need a larger space because it's a premium brand. Same as EuroKids, you need a ground floor with outdoor area, and you need ambience. You'll need to build the ambience as per the Kangaroo Kids manual. From a financial readiness perspective, the franchise fees for Kangaroo Kids is 6.5 lakh rupees for a 5-year term, whereas for EuroKids, it is ranges between 1.8 to 2.5 lakh rupees for a 3-year term. The setup cost for Kangaroo Kids is between 20 to 25 lakh rupees, whereas for EuroKids, the setup cost will be between 10 to 12 lakh rupees. And the monthly operating expenditure will be between 1.5 to 2.5 lakh rupees for Kangaroo Kids, while for EuroKids, it will be between 75,000 rupees to 1.5 lakh rupees per month. Now, if you're new to the preschool industry, or even if you're not new to the preschool industry, you need that, you know that a lot of support is needed to help you through setting up your own preschool and making a success out of it. So, if you look at this particular slide, we've spelled out everything that we will support you on. We'll support you on center launch and operations. We will support you on training, hiring, audits. We will support you on the curriculum. We will support you on marketing. I won't go into the details. If you're interested, you can reach out to fill up your form, the center form. We'll reach out to you. We'll explain what is the extensive amount of detailed support that we provide to you through the time that you are in partnership with us. We provide teacher training for seamless curriculum delivery. We do real-time teacher and center head training. We train your admission counselors on e-counseling and one-on-one counseling. Our academic team will conduct parent orientations and webinars in your preschool. Our academic team will come in and do classroom assessments both online as well as offline to make sure that learning outcomes are being delivered. They'll observe how your teachers are teaching inside the online or the offline class and give critical feedback so your staff can get better at what they do. Yeah. And we also do a very, very comprehensive partner induction. Yeah, because there is a teaching component to the partnership and to the franchise. There is a business part to the entire partner induction, and that part also we take you through in a very, very detailed manner. I spoke earlier about parents preferring branded preschools because branded preschools come with an assurance of safety, especially in the current environment. We've tied up with 3 partners, internationally renowned partners. We have Bureau Veritas, who has vetted and certified our entire COVID protocols as well as our operating protocols. We have Diversity, who is our hygiene partner, and Diversity has given us all the chemicals and all the disinfectants and everything that we need to use inside our preschools to keep them safe and hygienic for our children. And High Care is our disinfection partner. So they've designed our entire housekeeping protocols, right? So with these 3 partnerships, we are very, very well set to resume our preschool safely, to have children come into our preschool safely, and for parents to be rest assured that we're taking best care of their children. We also put in a lot of effort on the marketing side. We work with the best of agencies to create high quality campaigns. On the left hand side, you'll see the campaign that we launched this year about start online now and switch to classrooms later. This is the Kangaroo Kids one, which talks about unlocking minds even during the lockdown. So we'll give you all of these creatives. Yeah, that comes as part of the package. It could be print ads, it could be brochures, it could be banners, leaflets, standees. It could be hoardings, admission checklists, parent manuals, parent mailers. We'll give you the full plethora of all the media that you can use in your local campaigns, and we will support you with a large scale national campaign which will drive leads to you via a software. All you need to do is call those leads, invite them over to your preschool, counsel them, and convert them into admissions. We also spend a lot of effort doing a lot of PR and media coverage, and the benefit comes to you as our franchise partners. I will stop here and then we will shift to question and answers.
I would request the audience members to put down their questions in the chat box and we can take it up. So there's usually a 30-second lag with the questions coming in because it's a live. So we'll wait for 30 seconds for more questions to come in.
I see one question saying, if you're not in India, can you still be a partner? Um, Please do express your interest. Tell us which country you are from. Kangaroo Kids is currently there in Dubai. It's in Qatar. It's in Bahrain, and we also have a Kangaroo Kids in Maldives, and a very large Kangaroo Kids in Maldives. Right. So yes, with Kangaroo Kids especially, we are happy to go outside India. And if you get in touch with us, then we can talk specifically about your country and whether we are opening up over there or not.
Sir, I see another question which talks about supporting children with special needs and specifically for kids with Down syndrome. If you can elaborate on that.
So, we have internally, we have what we call COWB, Center of Wellbeing. So, the Center of Wellbeing has been created, and it's a pioneering initiative at Lighthouse to support children with learning disabilities, to support children with any kind of severe learning or behavioral disability, right? However, what we have to be careful about is that we should be very clear that we can support the child. If the learning disability is very, very severe, then we will encourage the parent to take specialist advice. But if it is a minor learning disability, then we have special educators and counselors who will help our those children come and integrate with the rest of the class. So yes, we do have the capabilities to handle children with special requirements.
So, regarding the question of opening up a school in an international location, what candidates what locations I'm seeing on the chat box is Ghana, if that's possible.
So, what I would suggest, Simran, is that whoever is interested in exploring franchise opportunities with either EuroKids or Kangaroo Kids should just fill up the form that you have put into the chat.
I will at 5:45. Yes.
And then once those leads come to us, then we can have one-on-one conversations with you, with our team, to discuss the specifics of. So currently we don't have any preschools in Africa, but we are, uh, we can consider opening the preschool in Africa. Yeah.
There's a question if you can elaborate a little bit on the curriculum practiced in the schools.
Yeah. I'll ask Dr. Anita Madan to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in terms of the curriculum, we are very sure that we want to give a holistic curriculum. So that's the reason we talk about mind, body, and soul. So we focus on the cognitive development, the affective domain, and the psychomotor domain. And we see to it that the child has a wholesome development. So it's not only the IQ that we focus on, but we focus on EQ also. We have a lot of smaller modules that we have made which we focus on language, math, and scientific thinking. We do not have anything which is like a rote learning thing. We have everything hands on. Children learn by the experience. We teach them a lot of inquiry, we teach them a lot of executive function skills. So I'm sure that you would have no complaints on the curriculum in terms of development, because we focus on the wholesome development in the child.
So I just noticed a question saying, uh, you know, need to know about the structure for rural areas or in urban areas with lower middle class. There's another question from Usha Shashidhar saying, if we want to start in rural areas, how about the franchise fee setup cost? Will it be same or different? So all these are very, very interesting questions, very valid questions. What I suggest, recommend to the attendees on this webinar is, we are happy to answer all these questions, but these are very, very specific questions. So if you express your interest by filling up the form, we'll make sure that our team reaches out to you, talks to you, explains the proposition to you in great detail, and then you can decide whether you want to go ahead with the investment opportunity. But typically in EuroKids, the fee structure across the country, in a Bangalore, for instance, our fee structure could go as high as 65 to 75,000 rupees, whereas in smaller towns of India, our fee structure could be as low as 18 to 20,000 rupees. Yeah. So we do vary the parent fees from city to city and from location to location on the basis of their ability to pay. Right. Similarly, our franchise models also, if you're in a city like Bangalore, the franchise fees will be, say, 3.5 lakh rupees. But if you're in a very small town of India, the franchise fees could possibly be 2 lakh rupees. So there is a difference between large city to small city. The infrastructure requirements in a big city will be more. The infrastructure requirements in a smaller city will not be as heavy as what we require in a big city.
So there's a question, does the fees that is taken from the kids also vary with respect to the area the school is in?
Yes, it
Yes.
does. It does. So, I mean, I don't know which city that question is coming from, but because I'm living in Bombay, if you are in central Bombay, the fees will be, say, 70,000 rupees. But if you are on the outskirts of Bombay, the fees could be as low as 25,000 rupees, right? So the fees is decided on the basis of the paying capacity of the area, right? Uh, so that's how we decide fees, and we will give an indication of what fees we want to operate at when we start to have a discussion with the partner.
There's another question. The candidate wants to know, does curriculum include region specific information or content related to the culture, festival, etc., or is it more from a global perspective?
So we believe in giving all the children the same curriculum because we believe a lot in standardization, and we believe the child's taking in capacity or the children's taking in capacity is the same whether the child is from a small town or a big town. The more exposure that we give the child, the faster and better his brain development will happen. So specific to the region, yes, we have few festivals which are celebrated specific to the region. We have few activities that are very specific. We also have few centers who teach them the mother tongue, which is specific to the region that they belong to. But in terms of the overall package that we give, we prefer that it's like, we want all the children to benefit from what we are teaching them.
Okay. There's a question, I'm not sure how related it is, but does Lighthouse partner with government bodies in India to deliver preschool services?
No, as of now, we don't. We do collaborate with local governments wherever relevant, and if there are opportunities for cooperation, we do it. But as a program, currently we do not collaborate with the government to deliver preschool services. Having said that, if some opportunity comes up in the future, then we are very happy to do so. There's one
Uh,
question. Sorry, there's
yeah.
one question that I notice here, which we get asked very often, which Dr. Anita can answer. Sunil Golab says, your preschool curriculum, is it ICSE, CBSE, IGCSE, or is it independent?
Okay, so the board comes into place only when the child is about 6 years of age. So from grade one. So if you see, we do not have a very specific, government rules that a pre-primary comes under any specific board. Pre-primary generally follows something which is very non-board specific, and our curriculum specially follows a age appropriate thing. So we follow NACI, which is a National Association for Educating Young Children. It is a body which is US based, and we follow something which is very age appropriate for the child. So there is nothing as specific as an ICSE or a CBSE for children below the age of 6. Only when they go to the mainstream school, that is grade 1 onwards, it is the board that the parent has to select.
So, Simran, I'm seeing
Thank,
another
yeah.
question here saying from Purnima Jaiswal saying, is there any eligibility criteria for a person to start preschool? That's one. And the second question is, what is the minimum investment in a city like Lucknow? Sudeep, would you like to address
Yeah,
these
I'd
two?
like to. I'd like to answer this. So, in a city like Lucknow, it should be varying from 10 lakhs to 15 lakhs rupees, depending on again the location. See, if it is like Gomti Nagar, then it should be like 14 to 15 lakhs rupees, including the franchisee fee, the setup cost, also the equipment charges, setup, and some amount of civil work to build the infrastructure as per the ambience. And your other question was what is the minimum qualification? So the applicant has to be graduate, and we prefer because we have seen a great success stories if somebody has a teaching background with them. So anybody having a graduation and having a teaching background is preferred.
Okay. One question from Geeta Nakra, Anita is, will the curriculum cover all the multiple intelligence of the children?
So we use a lot of variety of methods to teach children. We have our own pedagogy, which definitely include a visual learner, musical learner, because we do a lot with rhymes, we do a lot with language, we do with story, we do with action. So yes, multiple intelligence will be accommodated in the curriculum, because we believe that the child learns in more than one ways. So yes, it will be there.
Then there's one question from Swapna Kanojia. She's asking, what about language medium? Is it according to mother tongue or only in English?
So children learn about 100 languages below the age of 6 years old. So, the more the exposure we give the child in terms of listening to the language, the faster and the more they learn. We prefer the mother tongue to be English, but initially when the child is settling down and he's just come in, we repeat the instruction in the mother tongue for the child, so it becomes very easy. The weaning off is taken care of, so we make it, the child very comfortable when the child is weaning off from the mother tongue to the English language. But most often we prefer our teachers speak in English.
Then there's a question from Kanak Jain saying a lot of people say that they prefer CBSE, ICSE, etc. How do I convince parents about individual curriculum? So,
So we
Anita,
don't have any curriculum specified by the government, which is an individual curriculum in India. So if you ask me, anything below the age of 6 years or below grade one, there is nothing specific that's given by the government. So each individual school follows their own pedagogy. And the framework that we follow, in fact, we follow something which is given by the NESI, which is a US based body. So it's not very difficult to convince the parent because there's nothing available in India.
one question, Sudeep, which you could possibly answer, saying from Akanksha Modi, saying any qualification required for starting the preschool? What is the minimum investment in Delhi, and can you start it at home?
Yeah. So in Delhi, the investment would vary from 15 to 18 lakhs rupees, because maybe the cost of the property and cost of development of the infrastructure would be little higher considering a metro city. And this includes your complete franchisee fee for 3 years, then setup cost and infrastructural development cost, everything put together. And the minimum qualification, as I already mentioned, the person has to be graduate, and we prefer somebody having a teaching background.
Okay. Simran, is there any other question you think we can answer from what is popping up in the comments?
Yeah, so like I'm just summarizing from what I'm seeing in the chat box. Is there any specific benchmarks that you have probably to recruit teachers in the schools that people are going to set up? is there a benchmarking in terms of what training they should have undergone or something like that?
So the minimum qualification that the teacher should have is she should have the degree of early childhood care. So ECCED is something which she requires. Apart from that, they also have their nursery teachers training, which is valid while you want to take up a job as a pre-primary teacher. Also, we give a lot of training to the teachers. So if she comes with her basic training, we also train the teachers in terms of how to handle children, what is classroom management, how to conduct the session that the teacher has to do with the children. I just saw a question popping up. What's the difference between ECCED and preschool? Actually, preschool is early years and ECCED is also early years. So there's no difference. It's just two different ways of calling it. So, basic training, if you ask me, a qualification is early childhood education.
Then one question
Uh,
from
yeah.
Yugan Verma saying, for preschool, do we need any affiliation from CBSE or ICSE?
No, you don't.
So actually, preschool don't come under the school sector. So in most states, all you need to do is do a very simple registration with the local authorities, and you need to have a structure which is stable, sound. You need to probably have. You don't even need a fire NOC because you typically be operating out of a residential building. Yeah. So opening up a preschool is very simple and very easy and doesn't require too many permissions. You may need to take a shop and establishment permission for your from your local authorities, and that's it. You can go ahead and open the preschool. And of course, if you want to find out more about uh, you know what is needed to open up a preschool, please fill up the feedback form which is being circulated by the center team, and we will then get in touch with you and explain the whole process to you in detail.
I
One
can see there
question.
are a lot. Sorry.
So
Yes, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
just wanted to add one thing here. So what we require to start a preschool, there are basically three things. One is your own engagement. You need to invest your own time, and then decision about the right location, which micro market one should look at, where you can get a good quality catchment, where you can charge a good fee amount, and also you can get good number of enrollment, and the selection of the right property at the right price. So these are the three parameters which play instrumental role in launching a successful preschool franchise.
So one very
And
specific question which I would like to
Mhm.
address. Janit Kumar is asking: is CENTA certificate mandatory to be a teacher? I don't know about teacher, but what I would like to tell the audience today is that if you are CENTA certified, then you would be preferred when it comes to becoming either a EuroKids or a Kangaroo Kids partner. Yeah, because what we do believe is that if you are CENTA certified, then you are very extremely well prepared to take on the role of an edupreneur.
And also one very important thing, if somebody has their own property, because the cost of the property, that is the rent, plays a significant part in the opex, month on month opex for this business. So anybody having his own property which is suitable for a conversion into a preschool infrastructure, for them it's a very good business opportunity.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, teachers have a natural, um, strength or a natural advantage when it comes to setting up and running preschools. Even from a entrepreneurship perspective, preschools are not, they give you a good balance between your personal life and your professional life, because preschools typically operate between say 8 to 2 in the afternoon, or maybe 8 to 3, right? Then you have the rest of the day free for you to take care of all your other responsibilities, right? So we've seen a lot of teachers who moved from a full-time teaching job into starting up their own preschools, who are extremely happy because now all of a sudden they own a preschool. They're running it with a well-known brand like EuroKids or Kangaroo Kids. They have even more respect in the community, all the parents in the vicinity know this teacher, know this person who's running a preschool, and now they are actually earning a good financial return on the investment that they have made in the preschool, because as an organization we help the partner become financially successful in a short period of time.
There's another question that I saw in the chat box is there a possibility to start a school online?
Yeah, of course, one can start the school online, but eventually it is always we strongly recommend and we do require an offline presence as well, because right now, yes, like Maharashtra has already started their preschool, and very soon, in a couple of months, other states will also follow. So, and parents will definitely love to see the infrastructure and while sending their kids for their enrollment. So therefore we have seen that yes, there have been a lot of centers who have started with us in this financial year digitally, and they all have blocked a location that once the physical resumption is on, then they will set up their physical center in that particular micro market. So you can initially start digitally and eventually you can build your physical setup.
Sudeep, there's one question from Purnima Jasyal saying, should it be an owned property or a rented property?
Uh, so it we are okay with either rented or own property. Now the beauty of the own property is that you save significantly on the rent part of it. Therefore, it is a very profitable business if you have your own property which is suitable to be converted into a preschool infrastructure.
One question for you, Anita, is Sangeeta Bhattacharya wants to know what post instruction assessment process, if any, are we talking of for kids under EuroKids and Kangaroo Kids?
So the assessment does happen, but here we are not kind of, trying to make or label the child, but we have ongoing assessment which happens only for the improvement of the child. So we have activities which we then conduct to see that the child moves from one level to the next level. So we are not doing assessments in terms of giving a report card saying the child has got an A grade or a B grade and all, but yes, we do assessment only for improvement and trying and giving him more and more exposure to the similar kind of activity.
Okay. Any more questions, Simran? You think we might have missed out
Mm,
on
I
anything?
think no, I think we covered most of the questions. If there are any more, we'll just wait for another 30 seconds. And I think there were a lot of region specific investment, how much investment is required in a particular region, but I think that can be answered once we get the interest forms from those particular people.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Just
not,
wanted to add one thing, Simran, here, and for
yes.
all the friends and teachers. So we have our large team, and in every state and in all the major cities, we have our team members based. So there are typically three team members. Uh, the business development team who will handle you from this discussion to they will make you understand the model in greater detail. They will help you in identifying the suitable catchment area, which micro market is more profitable for you. Starting from the scratches till your center is launched, they will also help you in the recruitment. So this is the role of the business development team. And then once your center is launched, we have dedicated academics team and operations team. They will also keep on assisting you in ensuring the required or desired or planned enrollment in your center. So there are three teams who will be continuously working with you throughout your association with us. So please reach
The,
out to our business development team through the form which is being circulated from through center, and they will give you and explain you all the necessary details, because the investment varies to significant extent across the geography.
Sudeep, there's one.
Shraddha ma'am wants to know if there is any flexibility in implementing the curriculum.
Flexibility, we give you a daily teaching plan which says that you have to specifically complete that much, but beyond that, yes, so a minimum guideline is given which has to be done, but yes, you can do more than that, but no flexibility in terms of what is already provided to you.
So
I
the
also
plan,
read a question
plan.
there's
Yeah.
sorry,
Sorry.
you
Go
were
ahead.
saying.
Go ahead.
I also read a question there saying that pre-primary is now part of NEP. So how does it change? In fact, we are very happy that government has recognized pre-primary as part of the national education policy, but it just provides us and gives us guidelines in terms of what is the basic minimum that we have to do. Again, we have a lot of opportunity to do beyond what is given, but basic minimum, like my curriculum has, basic minimum has to be done. Beyond that, a lot can be done. Similarly for NEP.
I
Sudhir,
see another question and
yeah.
comment by Monica Kanchan ma'am,
Ah, yes.
and she said, "I already run a preschool. Is there a possibility for you to help in improvising it?"
Yeah, of course. So I think this is a great opportunity for anybody who is running a preschool. So we have a special customized offer which actually talks about much lesser investment, because you are already established in that market. You must be having a reasonably good infrastructure. So yes, for anybody who is already running a preschool, and anybody who wants to shift their existing local center to our umbrella brand, so there is a special offer. So please reach out to us through the that form which will be circulated, and the detailed specific customized plan will be shared with you. And we do encourage this because we have seen that the people having this kind of background and experience, they very quickly learn the things, and their learning curve is very very short, and they actually end up in doing a very good number of enrollment.
I think that's most of the questions that I can see on the chat box. If there are any other, if there's any other information that you would like to share with the audience, otherwise we'll just close the session in another 2 minutes.
Okay. So, in closing, and on behalf of the entire team at Lighthouse Learning, EuroKids, and Kangaroo Kids, mm, you know, I think the demand and the potential in the preschool sector is enormous. Not too many people still realize how much potential and how much opportunity lies in the preschool sector, especially for people from the teaching community, because they are very well trained and they know exactly what is needed to succeed in this space. So, my only urge would be to do consider the entrepreneurship opportunity. You may be thinking about going into a teaching role, but nothing can be better than owning your own business. And the business of teaching can be a very very rewarding business, as you all know, because you're all teachers. So the business of being in a preschool, of owning a preschool, can be very rewarding, as you see these little children from the ages of 2 to 6 develop in front of your eyes, learn to walk, talk, write, read, and the joy of watching them develop, and the reward that you get in terms of parents being grateful for all the developmental effort that you've taken on behalf of your child, can be uh, very very rewarding for a lifelong. Yeah? You know that, right? What you need is to tie up with someone like EuroKids or Kangaroo Kids, who come to you with a 360-degree support and work very closely with you to make sure that your business succeeds, that you recoup your investments very rapidly, and that you make an impact in your micro market, in your society, and you contribute towards nation building. So come join hands with us, and I'm sure we will have a great journey together.
Thank you, sir. Mridula ma'am wants to know whom she can reach out to. I think if she fills out the survey form, ma'am, our team will reach out to our and the Kangaroo Kids team will reach out to you shortly. Uh, I would also like to now close this session, and I would like to thank all the panelists for coming in and providing all the information to our participants. I would like to thank our participants for engaging with us today. Thank you, everyone, and we'll close this session now. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank